have an inner rebel in me, and I'm extremely stubborn as a person. Whether it was after injuries, whether it was after surgeries, I've been written off maybe 30 times in my life in these last 20 years. The last time that happened, I came back and became number one in the world. My rise in the professional circuit went very quick. It was in 2005. This was in singles, and I went from like 200 in the world to 30 in the world in a span of 1 year. So a lot happened during that time.
If we had success, that is the kind of success you want. You want it big, you want it loud, you want something that shook the earth, and she did.
She had a certain quality in her that you did not see in female Indian athletes at the time, who tended to be much quieter, much more reserved, much more closed in. She was just out there, and you could not push her around.
She was so big, she turned the lights on India. Whenever she played, wherever she played, people would, there would be Bollywood songs around, and because she was India, she was Miss India in that time. I remember as a 20-year-old, she came in to Wimbledon wearing a t-shirt that said, "Well-behaved women rarely make history." She came into a press conference wearing that t-shirt. But that is Sania Mirza. She was bold. She did not care.
She's not two people in that. She is what you see. And her attitude to that was take it or leave it.
A bolder figure for an Indian woman? I don't know if there's another one.
Gasquet against Djokovic and Federer against Murray are the major calling cards of Wimbledon today. This match will probably have a bigger audience than those by virtue of the fact that Sania Mirza is such an absolute superstar, arguably the biggest female star in the subcontinent.
It was great. Obviously it's great to be recognized and acknowledged and congratulated, but it was a lot. It was a lot for anybody.
There is a lot of talk about her forehand. At one point they said it was the hardest on both tours. I remember a time, actually, it was one Wimbledon. She was training at Aurangi Park next to Serena Williams. Each time I would close my eyes and just listen to the ball. I couldn't say whether it was Sania or Serena. She was pounding the tennis ball. That was a really big shot. But I still somehow do not think it was that stroke that made her who she was. I think it's her mind. Somehow, when the chips are down, when it's match point, when it's down break point, she can come up with the big shots. She could summon that shot when she wanted it.
Well, that was an interesting tactic from Cox-Jones.
Tennis, they say, is an individual sport, but it's probably the most team player sport that there ever can be, because if you don't have that team, that is supporting you, in my case, the family, it is just not possible to do it.
I think this was in 91 or something. We were based in US at that point of time, and I was playing with friends on the weekend, and she would pick balls for us. I think she was about 5 years old. And she wanted to hit the ball, and she had her cousins who were a little bit older than her and who would mock at her because they thought that she's a girl, she's not going to be able to hit the ball the way we can. So she never hit the ball then. When we came back to India, I think a year or two later, that's when we got her into tennis for the first time. And within about a week, I got a call from the coach of the club, saying that you have to come and watch her, sir. She's unbelievable.
The first day I ever held the tennis racket, I made ball to racket contact straight away in the middle of the string.
Very frankly, I didn't bother to go and watch her for the first 6 months. I thought like any other coach, he was just trying to overplay her talent. But when I did see her after 6 months, there was something very, very special about her. We started encouraging her from that point of time, and she kept on delivering, and it never stopped.
The amazing part is that every little victory that I had since I was 7, 8, 9, and I mean, we took so much pride in it, and my parents made sure that I felt that they were so proud of me.
The first time I remember seeing her was probably 2001 Wimbledon. She was playing the juniors. She played a second round match, which I think she lost.
I used to never cry after I lost matches, when I was younger, and everybody used to be like, why doesn't she cry? She doesn't care, she doesn't care, because all the kids used to cry.
I remember seeing her with her parents. I think it was just her mother, Naseema, after that, and she was enjoying this ice cream and giggling and laughing. I said hi to her and I introduced myself, and I thought to myself, this is a typical journeyman attitude, where you're okay with the loss, you're okay with just competing.
My parents always taught me that tennis is a very important part of your life, but it's not your life. You're going to be fine even if you don't have tennis, and that was instilled in me since I was very young.
Much later, when I spoke to the family, when I spoke a lot to Imran, and he would tell me that was a routine they had, post-match, that they would get her an ice cream, win or lose. Success was not important. It was always how much effort she put in.
The turning point was probably in 2003 when she won Junior Wimbledon, because even though it was in girls' doubles. In India at that point of time, we were also looking for a woman sporting icon, which we didn't have at that point of time. And somehow Sania seemed to fill the bill at that point. And I think that probably was the moment when we decided that she could be a professional tennis player.
Sania, in the initial years when she started playing tournaments, I used to accompany her for all the tournaments. Anam had to sacrifice that, basically, to stay without mother. But after a certain period, we changed the role, and I started staying home and he started traveling. 2 there, 2 over here, we were never 4 of us always together.
Plane was not even something we could ever think about taking a flight. I mean, it was not on the cards. I mean, it was either 3-tier train with 80% used to get a sports quota discount, and my mom going and standing in line for hours trying to get that discount. Or it was a car. It was like a 3rd, 4th hand car, which probably could stop any moment. I mean, we were driving. That was the only way we could travel. There was not many people that believed in us. They would make fun of my parents and say, oh, what do you think, she's going to play Wimbledon one day, or she's going to win Wimbledon one day? And they thought it was a really funny joke. And at that point, Martina Hingis was #1 player in the world, and they were like, oh, do you think she's going to become Martina Hingis?
They'd won 14 matches in a row as a brand new partnership, and here they are in a Wimbledon final. That's a smash of some quality.
I remember the night before the final, and she was pretty nervous that day, and I've never seen her nervous. She's a very confident person, and she didn't sleep very well that night, and I could see that she was really on edge on that particular night.
We walked into this movie set where it was like, it was bright, it was the center court of Wimbledon, everybody was on their feet. There was 20,000 people standing on their feet, and there was just roaring. Those are the moments that you live and work for.
And then in the morning when we went in practice, I could see that she was not timing the ball at all, and I could see that the nerves, tingling away. And I remember telling her, don't worry about it, it'll all fall into place once we get onto the court in the match. They lost the first set, I think 5-7, and it was a very tight second set where there were no breaks, and Sania and Martina managed to pull it off in the tiebreaker. They were 2-5 down in the third, and it seemed all but over. Martina and Sania both played some unbelievable shots and came back firing on all cylinders.
There was an interruption of by rain. I just went on in my room. I was watching with my younger daughter in her room, but when it stopped, I just went to my room and I started praying there, and I kept praying till her match was over.
Incredible, winning the last 5 games in a row.
I was 8 in the world and I stopped on my own terms. I said that I want to extend my family, and that's it. And people were like, that's crazy, you're 30 years old, like you're 8 in the world, why are you stopping? And I was like, because I don't believe that I need to stop depending on, whether I can play tennis anymore or not. That's not, I should be able to live my life according to how I want it.
She wanted to prove to the world that after you become a mother, you don't have to sit at home. You can go out and you can still fulfill your desires, and you can still win what you feel, what you want to do it, And this has shown it to the world.
I feel that if there's even one person who gets inspired by my story, I would feel that I have been able to accomplish something much more than winning a tennis match or winning any kind of Grand Slam or any medal in my life. That's why I started putting the journey of me losing weight, because I think a lot of people struggle with that after they have a baby. The amount of messages I used to get from young mothers saying, I saw your post of you going to the gym, and that motivated me to get up and go for a walk, because it reminded me that I need to take care of myself as well. And for me, those moments in some ways are much larger than winning tennis matches.
I think of her as the benchmark. I think of her as a symbol of what women's tennis can be like. Once she finally retires, we will realize the gap will be quite huge, that we'll be looking for someone like her again to be successful, to be forthright, to represent strength and power in Indian women as well.
I think she gave us more than we expected. She gave us the 3 Grand Slam doubles titles, the 3 Grand Slam mixed doubles titles, the 42 or 43 doubles titles. They're all but just numbers. I think Sania was always more than that.
I've achieved almost everything that I've wanted to achieve and more, and I am extremely grateful for the career I've had. Even if I stop tomorrow, I will be absolutely fine with the career that I've had.
She has surpassed all our expectations as far as tennis is concerned. I think we never imagined that she would reach the heights that she finally managed to reach in the game.
I'm very proud of her, and also Sania has set a very high goal for rest of the Indian girls or rest of the Indian tennis fraternity over here, including the men and women, to reach that pinnacle what Sania has reached.
I am forever grateful to my parents for putting in those efforts, when they were very young. They were very young when I was 6, they were 33 and 28, and my parents gave their life for me, a very young life, and gotten so much back from God in return, and we are forever grateful for that.